Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Eve. This is Everyday Artist and welcome. And this is Rogue. And Hank is standing here in front of me because it is almost dinner time. My video is much later than normal, which I will tell you about. I'm here to talk to you about my crochet and my stitching and talk briefly about the spring mingle, which was fun. And that was this past weekend. I had to pause for a minute. Hank's tail came dangerously close to my son left partially finished Dutch on the coffee table, and I was afraid his tail was gonna sweep it off the couch. It still could. I moved it, but you know, if he gets too close. I think we fixed the stereo problem, so please tell me if it's still only mono. I think I got that fixed, and because I talk too softly, I will still try to raise the sound on my videos. So I hope that fixes the sound. The spring mingle was this past weekend. It was fun. I didn't take any classes. I didn't feel like I had the time to devote to the stitching. But I certainly enjoyed the talk. The different talks that they had. Modern folk embroidery. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. And from Picture This Plus, and just general stuff, stitching rooms, the WIP dating. If you've never done it, you should go ahead and sign up. It's worth the money, even if you only do it for a few hours out of the weekend. I did very little on Sunday. I intended to come back after church, and I did for a little while, but I was just had things I wanted to do, and I was just really tired, and I said, you know, I'm done with it for today. Tell me about, if you did it, tell me about your experiences. I'd love to hear about it. So first thing I'm going to show you is, before I talk about that, I have a funny story. One of the reasons why it's later today is I had a 9:30 meeting, and then afterward I went to pick up the tablet, which I didn't have, so I couldn't record like last night. We share a tablet for Three Sisters Creative and my videos. It's my tablet, but we put it back and forth between my sister's house and mine. And so I went to go pick it up. And I arrived there, and my brother-in-law was in his car, and I thought, oh no, he's trying to go somewhere, waiting for me. And I got his attention. He goes, oh, I'm so glad you're here. He goes, can you call my phone? I can't find my phone anywhere. And I called it, and he's looking around, and then I see him look in the recycle bin. He had accidentally thrown his phone in the recycle bin, and I'm like, oh, can you imagine if he hadn't been able to locate it in there? Anyway, that was funny. On the way home, I met some of Phoenix's really bad drivers, people trying to crash into me for no reason whatsoever. So it's been a full day. And then after I got home, I was watching TV with my son, and I got to doing my normal routines and stuff, and I was like, oh, I forgot to film my video. Oh no. So that's why I'm so late today. It's a relatively short video, even though I did stitch during spring mingle. I didn't stitch on a lot. I stitched mostly on one thing and a little bit on something else. Anyway, the first thing I want to show you is I gave up on that shell crochet project. I didn't like the way it was looking. I'm like, if I don't like it, I'm not going to give it to somebody. So I picked this project. And the instructions start like this. No picture. There's no pictures anywhere. And I think it's Hooked Haven, but I couldn't promise you that. I meant to go look for it and write it down. She did not, it's not printed anywhere on the pattern. You'd think that there would be a copyright at least on the last page. Let me see. Nope. Nope. No copyright. So when I do a critique of the pattern is written well, except that it goes all the way to the bottom of the page. So when you print it, part of the bottom of the stuff it doesn't come out. So I had to write it in by hand. But it's well written. It's easy to understand. There's no pictures, but I have the picture from when I bought it, which is what I showed you. So, like I said, I think it's Hooked Haven. And this is my progress so far. Now, this is supposed to be a size small. I can't even imagine what size it would be if it was a size large. I did the gauge 3 times until I got it the same gauge that it said. So apparently this is how big it's supposed to be for a size small. I'm like, what? Let's see if I can show you the pattern. It's a spider web pattern. My sister encountered a spider very close to our house at a McDonald's. I hope no spiders like that come in my house. It was huge. There's a picture. But I thought the pattern looked cool. So I have a couple of repeats left on this before I start the bodice. And I think this is supposed to drape a lot at the bottom. And I think that's what causes it to scrunch up and fit correctly. I hope, because I may not be making a shirt for my niece. I may be making one for myself because it's gigantic. And if that's the right gauge, and for those of you who don't crochet or knit, a gauge is where you, because everybody's tension and yarn and whatever is different, you do a certain number of stitches for a certain number of rows and measure it. And it's supposed to come out to whatever the designer says. And I was supposed to make 4 inches, and I chose at first the needle size that she said, and it came out to 2.5 inches. I went up 1 and it was 3.5 inches, and it was supposed to be 4. So it is likely larger than it's supposed to be because I had to go up 1 more. And it came out very close to 4 if I did it real tight. So I'm trying to do it real tight. That's not my normal style. I did not take out the page for this, so I'm going to put a picture of We Do Geek. And here is my progress. Now, I talked to my son, and he said, leave out the firefly stuff. He says he was never that into it. He said, go ahead and leave it out, so I know I'll have enough space. So that is, yeah. I probably didn't leave enough room for me to show. I seem to be talking very fast. I think that's because, oh, by the way, the air conditioner came on. It's very loud, and I apologize. But, It's very hot, so. So I worked some on, I'm not sure if I showed this to you, anchored tails. I think I've worked on it since the last time I showed it to you. If not, I apologize. I've got the first seahorse done. I don't have the seaweed, and I started the face on this second little seahorse right here. It's going to be so cute when it's done. Now this is the outer edge, so it's not going to run off the edge any more than that. This is the outer edge of that. But I decided to go ahead and start Citrus Sea Turtle by, did I say StitchyProse designed the anchored tails? If I didn't, I'm sorry. StitchyProse designed Citrus Sea Turtle. And I decided to go ahead and start this to work on it during the spring mingle. Did I work on it tons? No, because I was jabbering. I can't count and jabber at the same time. And I didn't have any projects where I could just fill it in. But this is as far as I've gotten. I started it before the weekend, and I worked on it during some of that. Now, the other project that I worked on all Friday night while I was in stitching rooms was this flag. I'm almost done with the blue. I'm hoping the red doesn't take as long, and I want to get the blue done before the end of the month. I'm not racing to finish it. At first I was like, I want to finish it before July 4th. But, you know, then reality hit, and I was like, okay, that's not going to happen. They suggest one a day, and it'll take you a year. Thank you for the air conditioner going off. They suggest one a day, and it'll take you a year. I try to do more than that. I would like for it to be done before the end of the summer. Just because I would like time to figure out how to frame it and, you know, and all that before next July 4th. I want to have it up on the wall. I bought a little flag. It's a metal flag, and it's about this big, and it stabs into the ground. I bought that a couple of years ago, and we could never get it to stick in the ground at our previous house. And it was one of the first things my son stabbed it in the ground here. And that's the only flag we have out. We need a real flag. Yeah. I am talking so fast. I don't mean to be. Temperature Pets by JaceBreeze. Now, I have also worked on the projects that I have for Flosstube Frenzy, and I did some of that during the spring mingle. I'm just showing the ones that are not that. So, if you hear explosions in the background, it's my son playing PlayStation. This is where I am. Now you see those dark red? I have another color for above this red color. That was, we had 3 days of 108 degrees in May. I am terrified of what the temperature will be in July. But here we are. Now, it's been cooler the last couple of days. There's a lot of wind, so it's bringing the temperatures down. But yeah, it's too early. The dog is telling me to feed her. Not yet. The last project I have is hands-on design, the summer basket. And I did these two and turned them into a biscornu. And I'm working on this last one. And before I started it this time, I added these. And I finished one of these two stars up here and finished up, oh, it was this star I finished. I finished up a little bit of this dark red, but I ran out of thread, so I have to add more dark red. But I'm going to finish all these green things, and then see this white? There's little white things in between. I've got to add those. See if you can see it on the pattern. All these white. And I am not using the same white. I'm using the other colors that called for colors. But the white, I'm using DMC Satin. It was the only white that really showed up on this green color. And don't ask me why I chose green. I have no idea. It's supposed to be a patriotic looking thing. But and it does. It's just, that was the only white that would show up. And it does show up. You can really see it. But the other whites that I tried just didn't show up whatsoever. So that is everything. I talked so fast. I'm sorry I did. But that's everything for this week. I hope to see you again next week. And let me know if you went to the Mingle and how you enjoyed it. Did you do any of the classes? And I'll see you next week. Happy stitching.